Perfect. We can go.
3, 2, 1. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back today with somebody I love to talk to, an actual, real, live vegan, and not just any vegan, somebody who is strong. Um, and I got the name wrong at the first, but it's S- Stefano.
No, that's wrong
Stefan,
again. It's Stefano.
wrong again. Stefano. It's one long thing. Stefano Ronaldo. He's a calisthenics coach. He's, um, you know, exercise. You know a lot about protein. You know about the kind of nutrients you need to stay tough, but also live on a plant-based diet. How are you today, my friend?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. How are you?
Yeah. So I'm okay. So where are you coming from?
In the so I'm Italian. I'm from Naples, and yeah, I've been traveling around. I've been living in the UK as well, and now I am in the south of Spain, in Malaga.
And you have a dog nearby, or?
Oh yeah, she's here.
I thought so. I thought that arm motion. I thought he's petting a dog. Yeah, that's sweet. I also love dogs. I have my dog nearby, but she's not cool enough to keep me company right now. So you're originally from Naples, so that means you have Katsima.
That's it, man. Well, I would say that I am a little bit different, yes, than that kind of mentality of kind of being arrogant and wanting to take from others. Like it's a bit generic thought, but I would say that there is a little bit of very alpha mentality among people from Naples, especially men, and wanted to be respected by in a toxic way, not necessarily out of competence, but out of you know physical supremacy, and arrogance.
Yeah, so what's that about? Why is it, especially in Italy, is it very traditional in the men and women roles that they feel like they have to be tough guys?
Huh. Look. It's different things. So why one of the things that I say usually is like it's not hasn't been just random the fact that mafia and Camorra happen happened in Italy, like something is going on there. And I don't know, it's definitely rooted at least in the past of Italy, like something that I've noticed traveling that some of my experiences as a kid weren't that common around. Like for example, people when we were young, my friends were all used to steal stuff, like whatever it was, like bikes, motorcycle. I've been involved in stealing a car once.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of normal that everyone is a little criminal, to be honest. At least this is what I've lived. And then when I will go outside, like people is so much more educated. When I was when I when I went to the UK at first, and was the first time I saw one of these big chain like Pret a Manger. And I get in and I saw that all the food was on shelves, like not behind the counter. And I'm like, isn't people still stealing this stuff? Like, are they? What's going on here? Is that safe?
Yeah.
Should I pay? Should I not? I don't know. But
It looks free to me.
yeah, but yeah, there's definitely there's more masculine and feminine roles, which I agree. I mean, I think I do think that um is 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 a good way of doing this,
Hmm.
but yeah, like definitely traditional Italian families are very conservative for sure. Like if you are a woman, you need to stay at home, cook, and take care of your brothers and listen and cooperate with the mother in taking care of the house. My mom was definitely coming from that type of family.
Yeah. But I'm assuming your mom was a pretty good cook in that way too.
Yeah, I mean,
coming from
she took good care of
Italy,
me for
and
sure.
so you at some point probably ate meat, but then got off of meat. So what was that like?
Um, so it began. So I would say maybe I should say that I've never been a big fan of red meat, especially cheap red meat. I think it's most of the time it's kind of chewy, and chicken most of the time is kind of dry. I mean, like I feel like most of the time meat is not that good. Of course, you have good quality meat, but what I really like was fish. That was my thing, seafood and fish. So I went to it was about 5 years ago. I went for a backpacking trip to Asia. I've been traveling Thailand, Laos, and Philippines. Been in, I don't know, maybe 20, 25 cities. But what I've noticed there was how humans are destroying the environment, right? So you really see it there. It's not in Europe. Yeah, it's happening, but it's kind of hidden, right? Because if we put the rubbish in the street, someone pick up the rubbish and hide it somewhere. Um, there are probably more regulations, stuff like this. If, for example, some accident happen in a river when they throw chemicals, they're quicker into cleaning the mess and stuff like that. But in Philippines, especially in the big cities, without those reinforcement, you really see the damage that industry and all of these chemicals and waste do. And I remember to see rivers like that they were so fucked up. Like the rivers there, they're purple. There was this river that was literally purple, and there was this layer of chemicals that you could see on top of water, and of course the rubbish on top of it, like plastic over plastic over plastic everywhere. um, and what happens? I had how do you say, like uh, food poisoning while I was in Laos, and so I was vomiting and had diarrhea. And I did the worst thing that I could do. I went buy a medicine to stop my diarrhea, and you don't do that. My body was trying to get everything out, and I took this medicine, so I kept everything, and I didn't go to throw it all out, and so I had fever as well. Okay, so my
Oh
and
man.
and so what happened? Well, basically, I had 5 days where I couldn't travel. I wasn't even going out, didn't feel good, and so motivated from what I've seen about the environment, I started looking online. What's going on with the environment? Like this is shocking. What's up with that? Uh, and I encountered this documentary called Cowspiracy. Probably know. Do you know
Oh
Cowspiracy?
yeah. Cows
Yeah,
Cowspiracy. Everybody check it out. Yeah.
on Netflix. I think it's on YouTube too. And the new one is called Seaspiracy, which is even more shocking. But anyway, with Cowspiracy, I realized, like 50% of the Amazon forest is gone, and other things. And they also point out that one of the first causes of this environmental crisis is animal agriculture. And it wasn't only the fact that it was pointing at animal agriculture um, that turned on something on me. Was the logic behind it. I mean, like, of course, of course, if we are taking care of 1,000 more individuals in this planet on top of humans, right? So we have 3 trillion animals, including marine animals, that are there just to feed humans. And if we need to feed those animals first, of course, there's going to be an immense use of resources. This is stupid, and I felt lied to. I felt like I would never do something like that. I would never say, yeah, I need to do business, so let's destroy the Amazon forest. Fine. I never do that. And I just thought I don't want to do anything with that. I don't want to do. I don't want anything to do with this. And I wanted to be pescatarian. So that was my first decision. Um, and why pescatarian? I guess because it was the only food that I was more attached to in terms of food. I don't think I had any rational and kind of logic around it. Oh, but then what happened? But keep traveling, and we were on a port. Is that how you call it when there are all the ships and boats?
Yeah, yeah, port.
Port,
Yeah.
yeah. And I was looking at this ship, and the engine was on. And, the black, and there was this black smoke coming out of it and going straight to the ocean. And I don't know, I didn't see any fish die or something, but it just made me go a little bit deeper. I was like, no, 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 no. It's not good to eat seafood neither. And so I decided I wanted to be vegan. And so this is how it started, and from there I thought I was vegan, but I wasn't vegan. I was plant-based. And why I was plant-based? Because the fact that I was motivated for the environment brought, I was kind of making an effort, right, for the environment. And so I thought that if once per year I would have seafood just because I like it and to celebrate it and to give myself a treat, it's okay. And so once per year, maybe it would happen twice, maybe Christmas and New Year's Eve, I would have prawns and fish, maybe mozzarella. So I would give myself this treat. And it's only during COVID. So like after what is that? Like 3 years, 2 years of being plant-based. During COVID, I had this other moment where my life stopped. Of course, I was a personal trainer in London, lost all my clients, and I had to leave London, went to Italy, decided to create my online business. And so the vegan thing was still strong for me. So I said, okay, so I want to be an online presence. Let's bring veganism to this, right? And I decided to look at what activists, vegan activists, were doing. Like, what was because I never got into that. My my hunger for information stopped with the environment, right? I stopped there and I just kept going with my life. And as I get more information on what activists were doing, I realized that no one is talking about the environment really. Like the really vegan activists, they were all talking about the animals. And this is where I meet Joy Carbstrong. You find him on YouTube, a great animal rights activist. And so he's interviewing people on the street about veganism, and he's bringing out some very good points. So he basically introduced me to animals as people rather than something that's like here in the world, but we have power over it. And I was saying things like, they're just like us, they're just babies, but they're different, right? But inside of them there is a person, and they cannot express themselves so we can understand their suffering because they're different. But abusing them, it's not good. We need to respect them and give value to their life and ability of suffering. And so these words really helped me make the connection. And then I watched Dominion on YouTube. See the reality of the practice that are in the meat dairy industry, and that was horrible. Like was the period when I had a very em- huge emotional reactions. I really thought that was wrong. Because even though I in the beginning I said I was kind of doing some into bad behavior. Uh, Inside of me, I was always a good guy, and I never felt into my place surrounded with this by these people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, I really realized that this is wrong, and that in that same period I just adopted Nina, my dog. And so she was on the sofa She was on the sofa and watching. I was watching Dominion, and there was this soul locked into a cage, and I could feel the sadness of what was happening there. I was imagining this innocent little person caged, couldn't do nothing to defend herself, and I was looking at Nina, and she was on the sofa, kind of being the same way as the soul was, uh, but she was having a good life, and so that's when I really realized that I wanted to do something about it and become
Yeah.
an activist.
That's about my story too. I saw the eyes of my dog, and I could put those eyes on any other animal and say, look, this is somebody who's alive. And just like me, we're all alone out here on Earth. Why don't we just treat each other a little bit better? I mean, why not? What have we got to lose?
Good
So,
question.
but you say, well, yeah, right. But talking about stealing cars and stuff like that. But yeah, you've always had kind of a feeling of, but like real injustice. This has already been deep inside you the whole time, right?
Yes, and it was because of different reason. I think my mom was the one that kind of gave me this example because, as I said, she was coming from a very sexist family, right? And so basically, she was seeing injustice into the fact that the brothers could always do whatever they wanted, and they were always motivated and supported in whatever their life journey was. But my mom, who wanted to study and she wanted to work, she wasn't really supported in taking these decisions. The mom wanted her to be at home to help her, and so she left. She left. She left the house of her family, and she also started a business with my father after. And then when they broke up, she went to university and became a nurse, and then looked for a job in the north of Italy. So we moved from the south to the north, and so I think that's the example that got one of the things that got me to be kind of against oppression and discrimination, right? Um, and then there are other things, like when I was at school, I was bullied. I started school 1 year earlier because I was born in January. So I went started school 1 year earlier, and I was always the smallest one. Um, I was
Me
always the
too.
smallest one. There was this
Me
big,
too.
yeah. You been bullied too?
Oh God, yes. Oh God.
Yeah, there was this big
I'm
fat
I'm
guy.
I'm so small that when the wind blows, I'll blow away.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I've been picked on from this. Not only this guy. I mean, this guy in particularly, but of course, like you always have more people, kind of following the jokes and making you feel uncomfortable and stuff like that. It was stealing my snack, and sometimes I would try to fight back, but there was no, absolutely no chance. It was much bigger than me. Um,
Yeah.
and so yeah, was these that happened to me until well, until I would say kind of 13, 14. I was always picked on. I never felt included in the community. And this is what I wanted to say. And that's kind of why I got into bad behaviors as well, because I wanted to feel accepted. I wanted to be part of some kind of tribe, and I've been unlucky enough to to meet the wrong people, and I stuck around with them for a while.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, when you grow up rough around, like I grew up in the hood too, you have to find a community or a group of guys that'll have your back.
yeah,
And that's what I had
definitely,
to do. I had to get with the tough guys and find my way. Yeah.
definitely.
So you started to be vegan. You switched over with the idea of occasionally eating fish, and then went full vegan. Was there any concern about nutrition the whole time that you were good? Did you ever feel weak? Did you ever have to do some studying and find out, hey, what do I need here?
Yeah, yeah, there's definitely been a period that was like that. I've done it with no research, really. To be honest, before becoming vegan, like before going plant-based, always been a tired person. So I was kind of always tired, and probably one of the reasons why I was motivated to go plant-based, because this idea of eating fruit and vegetables uh, was like, this must be like the top of health, eating only fruit and vegetables. It sounds so healthy. It just sounds like, doesn't it sound healthy to you? Like for me, it's crazy that
Yeah, yeah, totally.
yeah, it's for me, it's crazy that people think that it's unhealthy as,
They told
yeah,
they keep telling us to eat the vegetables, eat your vegetables, eat your vegetables,
yeah,
and now I do.
and you're right. And now you're at risk. Your life is at risk.
Yeah.
But but what I did, I think, was I went too far into it. And what I mean with that is that, knowing also the health aspect of veganism, knowing that animal products are not very good for us. Some of them are actually these days recognized as carcinogenic, and all the cholesterol and saturated fat is bad for us. And diabetes is not really you eating too much sugar, is cholesterol clogging into your arteries and not allowing sugar to filter through the artery. So realizing all these brainwashing, I was
Mhm.
I was skeptical about everything, right? Like, what do I have to believe in?
Yeah.
So I went the opposite, and I started to really eat um, as many vegetables as possible. I wouldn't even eat like grains as much. I would eat more potatoes, and I didn't implement nuts at the time, so I was eating more fruit as a snack. And well, so what happened at the time? I was a personal trainer, uh, and I was in the middle between being a bartender and a personal trainer. So I was standing all day, and I was training hard, 2 hours per day, let's say. I was burning a lot of calories, and I was just eating salads and fruit. And so, so like I would say, like, because, and that's kind of precise because I did that math at the time. So I was burning 4,000 calories per day, and I was probably eating 3,000 or less, so 2,500. So I was in a big caloric deficit without knowing it. Um, and things escalated. I had I went from tiredness to brain fog to migraine to low libido to just hating my life every single day. And I was very tired, and I didn't know what was going on. My girlfriend was she thought there was something wrong with her because I didn't want to have sex. And I was like, no, there's something wrong with me. Trust me. I was like, trust me, there must be something wrong with me. Um, so first thing I thought, missing nutrients. So omnivores are right. I must be missing some nutrients. And so suggested from my physiotherapist. So that I started to take it's called
What was that? You took what?
um, B12, suggested from my
B12. Okay.
yeah. That I was already taking B12, but he told me to take more, so I did. Um, and then another thing that I thought about vitamin D, because I was living in London. There's not a much sun there, and so I got into researching what vitamin D can do, and it's pretty bad if you are deficient in vitamin D, actually. So I started
Yeah.
supplementing that, and that didn't really work neither. I mean, I always had some placebo effect all the time. I would try some new things, but
Right.
in the end of the day, they didn't work. Um, so the other thing that I've tried was fasting. So this is when I got into fasting. I did 3 days fast in a row, and I did it multiple times. Um, yeah, I mean, fasting is very interesting. So actually, I now really support fasting as a tool to improve your health and take care of your health long term. And it kind of felt it was working as well, but that's the thing, like when you deprive your body from food for 3 days straight and then you start eating again, it's going to feel good, right? But again, it wasn't the real problem that I was facing. The problem was calories, and I I've learned about that reading a book that's called Plant-Based Sport Nutrition, author Annette, Dr. Annette, something like that. Anyway,
Mm.
plant-based sport nutrition, yeah. And he was talking about the symptoms that could be caused by a uncontrolled caloric deficit over a long period of time. And there was me. It was me. Brain fog, consistent tiredness, low libido,
Wow.
migraine. It was all there. It was all there. Like, fuck, I think I need to eat more.
Yeah.
So, and so I did, and I started feeling great again. Like in no time, like literally, I didn't need weeks to recover. I just had 3 4 days in a row where I was making sure that I would track my calories and eat enough food, and I really felt great. And going back to my girlfriend, we started having more sex, and then one day we had sex 3 times in one day, and she was like, "What's happening to you?" And I told her, I told you that something was wrong. Now I feel good again. But yes, I struggled with that for months. For months, yeah, it got
So,
worse and
so,
worse.
so now what is on the menu? What is something that you go to that you say, "Oh, I can't live without my beans or my lentils or my nuts." What are some of the things that you eat in a day?
So my diet is very simple. I prioritize food as fuel rather than pleasure.
Yeah.
And so my morning is peanut butter sandwich with jam. Then for lunch, I would have a tofu sandwich with tomato and maybe more tomato on the side, like tomato salad, something like that. And then my other snack would be again peanut butter sandwich. And in the evening, I would have kind of my more complete and healthier meal, I would say, because this is where I have like maybe a mix of asparagus, cauliflower, broccoli, potatoes. I add seeds for good fat. Um, what else do I throw in there? Mushrooms, and then lentils.
Mm.
Lentils are my favorite usually. Yeah, I definitely cannot live without lentils. Like lentils was something that I love. Pasta with lentils. That's a meal that my mom used to make me too a lot. And even when I wasn't
All
vegan,
right.
I would look forward to it. So love lentils. and
Yeah.
and yeah, so something that I've learned, kind of applied recently, because I told you my snack was peanut butter sandwich, but also fruit. I eat between 5 and 10 pieces of fruit per day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I've learned that gives me two benefits. First of all, I like to eat. Um, I struggle with some basic uh, uh, level of anxiety. I also have.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Oh,
I
yeah.
also, yeah, I have also ADHD. So usually people with, yeah, ADHD have this kind of bit higher level of anxiety as a base. So I like to eat a lot basically, and with fruit, I can eat a lot of fruit and not overdo my calories.
Right.
Um,
I mean, how do you
yeah.
maintain this look too? I mean, look at you. This is not typical for what people think of as vegans.
Mm.
So, what was your transition to becoming ultra fit like that? You weren't always that ripped, were you?
Um, well, I started sports since a young age, like five. At now I'm 29, and
Uh-huh.
I started going to the gym at about 14 years old. So
Oh, okay.
so yeah, so I was fit. but I definitely kept building muscle and improve my strength level after going vegan. Yeah, I'm definitely in the best shape of my life now for sure.
Wow.
The really key factor to develop a body like this, a muscular body, is an effective training plan and consistency and discipline towards it. Uh,
So, what's the did you feel any difference between doing exercises and being? Because I know you used to weight lift, but then you stopped doing that and you kind of focus more on calisthenics. What was the difference did you feel between when you were meat eating and exercising and being vegan and exercising?
hmm. So I think that, and this is controversial because
Sure.
because
Then I like it. Yeah.
because in the beginning of my vegan journey, I was feeling tired, right? But it wasn't really the beginning. It happened a little bit, but let's say it was in the beginning that I felt tired. Um, but now the biggest benefit that I found in eating a plant-based diet is my energy levels throughout the day. I never really feel tired from a meal or tired throughout the day. I have good energy throughout the day, and I always go to my workouts with energy, never feel fatigued. And I think this is the biggest improvement in my health. Well, actually, there are many more. Here's the thing. I don't really kind of promote or believe into the magic factor of a plant-based diet in sports. I do think that it will improve your overall health, and that is what is going to give you something more perhaps into your physical activity. Maybe you can be healthier long term, and so you can do better. But in the performance in the moment, um, I wouldn't point anything that's specific to eating plant based.
Because the body just takes in protein, and once the protein has been absorbed by the body, then you can perform, I guess.
Yeah, protein, calories, fats, and
Yeah, right.
but I do want to point out that I was a very sick kid, so I I born with asthma, and when I was very well, when I was a child, I think I was 3, 4 years old, so I had pneumonia, that broncho pneumonia, like very tough one. So I was in the hospital. I've been in the hospital multiple times, and so I was asthmatic, taking medicine. So my metabolism wasn't very strong, never been very strong. In fact, I would get fever at least 2 times per year, and it was never just fever. It was like completely fucked, for a week or more, taking antibiotics and very high fever. And this is not happening since I'm vegan. I finally experienced, what it is to be just slightly sick. Usually it never happened. For me, it was just destroyed in bed to move. Uh, but now
That's
sometimes
wild.
when I feel maybe I get a little bit of flu, but it never escalates as before.
Yeah.
So I think my overall health is massively improved. It
That is
just because I want to add, just because I said that I'm asthmatic, I'm also not using the puffs anymore.
the what?
The puff, yeah, it puffs is like the so when you have asthma, you have this thing that
Oh, yeah, right. You call it
inhaler,
an inhaler.
inhaler, yeah,
Right, right, right. The puffer. Yeah, I like that. But yeah, so I mean, I gotta say the same. Well, I'm not a doctor. I'm sure you're not a doctor, but
yeah,
still, the feeling that you don't get as sick is something I think science needs to investigate more because I also don't get as sick now that I'm taking really good care.
yeah,
Was there was there anything that you missed, like cheese or anything like this? Because you grew up in Italy. I mean, we're talking pizza, pasta, stuff like that. Was there anything that you, because a lot of the stuff tastes good. Is there anything that you
yeah,
miss or
yeah, yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, especially like when it comes to mozzarella, you have no idea what
Mm.
what real mozzarella is. I'm sorry, you have no idea.
I've been to Naples. I've
I
been to
mean,
Naples.
like you've
I
tried the
love
proper
Naples.
mozzarella di
Buffalo.
bufala. That's very
Buffalo.
yeah. So that one.
I Naples is one of my favorite places in the world that I've been. Like the people will hug you and kiss you. I mean, there's dog poop and trash on the streets, but the people were the nicest people I've ever met in my whole life. So,
Yeah, 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 yeah. I get that. I get that. So yeah, I guess that was one of the things that I missed. But as of right now, I would say nothing. Like I really don't. Yeah, it's 5 years now, right? So I kind of I don't know. Maybe I don't even remember the taste. So
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
really triggered in that sense. And then there is definitely also the other part that when even though I have the slightest kind of desire of eating some animal products, maybe because I think, oh, maybe that tastes good. I have
Mhm.
the other part of the brain that fires on me all these slaughterhouse
Right.
footage, and I'm just
Yeah,
disgusted from that. Uh, so
right.
I
Well,
no.
something happens when you smell the smoke from a barbecue or something, right? The brain says, "Oh, yeah, you want this," but then you know,
Yeah,
you can
then
stop
and
that and
yeah,
say,
but you remember that those are body parts on a grill, and it kind of becomes disgusting.
Do you subscribe to a certain amount of like people that show animal cruelty on your Instagram to where you can stay focused on what's important?
Well, I do it to myself, I would say. So, I post a video, every day. So I watch them. I've definitely become conditioned to them, and I think it's not good because, like seeing myself losing almost the ability to become emotional towards this video, it,
Right.
it's not something good, I would say. And
No.
it's actually making me sad now to think about this,
Just think about it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to think about the fact that I'm so conditioned. But I think it also mirrors what happens to, for example, slaughterhouse worker. They becomes conditioned to violence, and when you eat meat, dairy, and eggs, I think that what happens. Like you know, you cannot be a true good person if you're eating that, because your brains knows subconsciously that you are eating suffering, you're eating an innocent being that didn't want to be chopped into pieces. And so the whole humanity, I think, is conditioned to, even good people inside are conditioned to be somewhat bad through these daily habits, consuming
Yeah.
suffering.
Yeah. I mean, this is hard to see because there's a lot of people out there fighting for, justice about other things, racial justice, gender, but then they turn around and eat a chicken wing. And I think, well, if not, it should be all inclusive. Come on, like everybody's included in this, like free from oppression, free from exploitation. This is my belief.
Well,
But it's
but
hard. I
that's
think it is hard.
I do believe that these people would be more likely to go vegan, though. Am I? That's in my
Mm,
opinion. People that are. I think you've seen that with the Israel, right?
right.
Um, and they are one of the most vegan countries.
Right.
And why is that? Because they've been oppressed. They know what's oppression, so they relate to oppression easily. So
Yeah.
I think these people are more likely to become vegan eventually. But
What do you find is the most effective from you're communicating with people all the time about this? What's the best way to get through to people about what do you say to somebody who might be on the fence and wants to come to our side?
there's so many answers to this. But one of one of the most effective things that I keep in mind when I do my activism is definitely understand that not everyone is vegan. Not everyone that's in front of you wants to do the right thing. And you need to and you need to analyze what this person actually thinks um, towards animals. Like if so, analyzing if they have a dog, what do they think about their dogs? You know, what do they think there is a difference between a dog and a pig? Would they want their dog in a similar situation of the pig they are they're looking at in the screens that's dying into a gas chamber? Um, and once you get them to into that point, I think you can have a more how you say truthful communication about them not doing the right thing if they don't go vegan. Okay,
Yeah.
so
I mean,
so
pigs are smarter than dogs, and this is already pretty clear that the similarities. So, do you feel like there's people that would never, or are there people out there that give you what do you most commonly hear when it comes to anti-vegan people? What are some of
this is the
the
worst, man. This is worse. I get so many people talking about saying plants feel pain. So many. Is absolutely disgusting. It's
a
sad.
bunch dumb shits? What are you talking about?
So many. Sometimes people don't even get on the fence. I mean, they don't. They say that they don't feel like they don't even feel on the corner before saying that. You know, but you should care also about plants. You know, out of the blue, as like the first thing they say when I tell them that it's wrong to abuse animals. Uh, but it's easy to get them out of there. You know, like so. Do you really think that animals and plants are the same thing? If yes, so do you actually think that humans, animals, and plants are are the same? So should we
And then they say, no,
should we
no, humans are
stop?
better.
Yeah, like should we stop protecting humans from murder and other kind of oppressions, right? So usually people do wake up from that nonsense.
Have you ever heard the one that goes, "You eat what you want, and I'll eat what I want, and just leave me alone," or like, you should just be free to eat whatever you want. Have you ever heard that one?
Yeah, sure. And all I do is reminding them the problem is that from their action there's a consequence, and it's not about you, it's about the consequence, and it's about the fact that you have another choice. So if there is a victim when you are consuming animal products and you have the choice to eat something else, like why would you keep doing it and not do this other thing that doesn't cause harm, which is
Yeah.
being vegan?
And it's funny is I get into a lot of political discussions about what's right and what's wrong, but veganism is so clear, isn't it? Isn't it so clear that
Yes.
it's the right thing to do? And so that's what makes it fun. You can chase these people around with real logic, real facts, and they're just like, well, I just like it. And eventually they have no reason. They think, oh well, we descended from people that ate meat. It's like, yeah, monkeys don't really eat meat that much. They mostly eat plants.
Yeah.
Gorillas? You never seen a gorilla eat a chicken, really.
But this is what I mean.
Yeah,
This is what I meant before when accepting that not everyone is going to go vegan, or at least maybe they don't go vegan at the moment. Like you
sure.
just you just need to be straight to the point, right? You just
Yeah,
address that objection, and you say that it's wrong to abuse animal. If you can be vegan, you should be vegan. Otherwise, you're an animal abuser. Just, just,
yeah,
just what you want to do is just personalizing this with the objection that they're giving it to you.
yeah.
Um, but definitely,
To
you
learn,
trying to convince them, um, going into other things. Sometimes some activists would try and go into the environment or health part. I think it's not the
right.
right way to do it.
Well, I'll say this for the sake of the animals, whatever really works, because there's a lot of people selfish who are just like, I just want to be healthy. I really don't care about cows. And then I'll say, well, your arteries could be cleaner if you happen to not eat the cow, you know.
I mean, it could be a good way to go. So approaching people in this different way, but maybe, you know, maybe what you're doing a little bit is weakening um, the importance of animal abuse, right? It's like
Right,
you are you're telling them, okay, it's fine if you don't want to be vegan. What about if you just
right.
just do a little bit less, right?
Yeah.
So I would say that if your goal is being make people think that really abolitionism, right? It's called you want to be abolitionist, so zero zero animal cruelty. When you talk to people, you should only talk about that and always make them understand there is no other choice but to be vegan. Otherwise you are being unfair to animals.
And this is the difference
Because
between when they do it for health. When you do it for health, you're really not, you're focused on yourself. But when you talk about what we were talking about, which is animal rights, this is a philosophical, awakening.
yeah, definitely. And also I think there are already people that talks about the environment and talks about health. And I don't think that's wrong. I don't think I just think that
Right.
if your goals is ethics, you stick to the ethics because that's the right thing to do. And you are special because there is people that are not strong enough to face other people. Tell them the truth. When you telling people that they are doing something horrible is difficult because you get all of these attack
Yeah, defenses.
defenses. So if that's what you want to do, I say you should be sticking to it because you're doing something very, very good. That it goes it does some positive for the future of humanity overall. Because what I've realized is that, and I see it in vegans, when you become vegans and you realize this injustice and you start wanting to fight for this injustice for the animals, and the animals will never give you back really anything. They're not going to pay you. They're probably not going to know what you did. They don't even know they've been saved. For that, or they probably they probably know. I mean, some of them they will
Yeah.
know because some of them
No,
maybe.
they're doing their job. Okay, they're fuzzy, they're cute, they're doing their
Yeah.
thing. Good. Not fish. Fish aren't fuzzy, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. And so I think you're really removing one of the rooted evil characteristic of modern society and humans, which is being selfish. You,
Yeah.
I feel in myself that I'm much less selfish. Selfish. I'm less
Yeah,
selfish.
yeah.
Well, and I see that with the vegans that I meet. When we have conversation, it's easier to have a conversation which is constructive rather than me trying to oppress my ideas on you. Let's say we're talking
Right.
about something completely different, right? But I see that there is less selfishness. Yeah.
I do too. I do too. And this has everything to do with empathy and everything. That's why I can sit here and just ask you questions. And remember being younger and your first inclination is to talk about yourself or something in every conversation. But eventually, when you start to realize that we're all kind of one in this way, we're all life on earth. For me, it's always been more fun to be empathetic to people and get a story out of you, have you on and tell me a story. More interesting than me talking over myself. Um, but so, and as far as the dogma goes, like of being really strict with people, do you encourage people to go all the way, or if people start, is it okay to start slow? Because there's a lot of people that are scared, right, to go vegan. So is it okay if they start like you did as a flexitarian and stuff like that? Is that okay?
No, what I usually say is, look, I cannot force you. I cannot force you to go vegan today, and you can do whatever you want from now on. But really being vegan is easier than you think. Okay, being vegan is easier than you think. Being vegan is the right thing that you should be doing. And if you want to take your time, you're going to take your time. But I'm not going to validate the fact that it's okay to take your time.
Right. Right. The sooner the better.
Hmm.
Every little bit of progress I see, I applaud it and I encourage it because I know that people need that sort of positivity to go forward. But the reality is, we're aiming for 100%, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, well,
You managed
come back
to
and do it.
you
What's
managed
that?
to turn some of your family members and people around you vegan.
Working on it. Working on it.
Okay.
I got my mom is pre-diabetic, so the doctor said you need to have different kind of diet because she would suck down Coca-Cola and eat chocolate and chain smoke her whole life. Like I grew up really kind of white trash. I'm really a poor person, and so we got the poor person's diet. And she went to the doctor and they said you should change your ways. And they said plant-based diet. And she said, well, interesting. And she knew that I was vegan and she started asking me about what to eat. But she's not there yet. It's not 100%, but I'm easing them into it, because vegans make up 1% of the population in the world. So we only got about 80, 90 million vegans total. So it's still a tough sell. You know this. You know it's hard, my friend. When you try to talk to, there's meat everywhere, on every corner, sausages um, so we got a long road ahead of us, but this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, and this is why you're doing what you're doing, is telling people, just telling people is the best thing I think we can do. But yeah, I mean, I'm working on it. How about you? Any family members you've got to convert?
Um, no, I had friends, yes, I had 3 or 4 friends that managed to 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 go vegan. My mom, she's flexitarian, and she really understood. She really didn't like watching, slaughterhouse footage and stuff. But I think for her, it's just difficult socially to say no and get into that discussion every time. But mostly, I think she's vegan. The thing with my mom is this: that she says A, all right, she says A, but she's thinking B, right, and
Right.
then what she does is C. So I don't really
Right.
understand what's
Yeah,
going
yeah.
on there.
Well, that's the thing is when you're the kid and the moms don't listen to the kids. We can never be experts on anything because we're still just little babies.
Yeah,
That's what I think.
probably. Yeah. On the other side, my
Yeah.
dad has been so rational and coherent in towards the argument, but he does nothing. Like he hasn't been empathic towards it. Has been rational and coherent. He recognized that what happened in those videos is wrong. When we had the discussion, he even said so. He even said that, so if I want to be coherent, I should kill and eat my dog. He said he said that as a joke, right? And
Right.
but yeah, at the end, he didn't do nothing. I even got upset with him because he knows how much activism I do, and when I got back home 1 year after, there was no change at all. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
you're,
yeah.
you're
There's
not even trying to do something
right.
about this, because something that I brought up with my father and also with my mom's boyfriend is the fact that they are always talking about the problems of the world and how governments and the system is fucked up, and they are using us and lies to us, and they're destroying the environment. And okay, but now you have these things that is contributing to some bad consequences. Why you don't do nothing about it? You know?
That's not related. No, no,
Yeah.
it's different.
Oh
No, it's
yeah.
the same.
Yeah. Yeah. This is what my mom's boyfriend says about cheese. Parmesan on top of pasta, and it was, yes, recognized, yes, very bad what happened to cows and the animals. We shouldn't do that. I was like, okay, Francesco, so, but you are actually using that product that, you know, on your pasta. And it's like, no, no, but you need to leave me with my cheese. You need to speak with the young people.
Yeah,
No, no,
it's the when you talk to people like that, it's always some kind of mental gymnastics. They're trying to do all these moves to try to say no, but and then at the end, it's just like, hey, just leave me alone, okay?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, we'll figure it out. I mean, this is like I said, I think it's a slow process, and also, yeah, just the amount of hatred I get and hatred I see, it just makes my blood boil to see some of the stupidity that comes out of the mouths of people when the hypocrisy of just take care of if there's oppression and exploitation in the world, like you said, then you should see that in everything. Don't just pick your group. Oh, well, we're oppressed, but fuck those other people. It's like, no, it's everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So what's up? You want to come back and do it again one day?
Oh, for sure, Chris.
Yeah, I love talking with you. Well, let's sign off to these people and then let's talk afterwards. I want to thank Stefano
Better.
Ronaldo, my new friend, a wonderful human being, vegan calisthenics coach. You can check him out at Stefano Vegan Calisthenics at Instagram. There's going to be links in the description, all that jazz. Is there anything you want to tell the folks before you go?
Um, of course. Whether if you're vegan or non-vegan, I think that you should be start doing something good for in the world, right? We need to make a change. I know there are a lot of non-vegans, good people out there that want to do some good, and I think you should be dedicating a small or big percentage of your life to make some positive impact for the community, for the animals, for the environment, just like I'm doing, right? So I'm a coach. I help vegan men build muscle, but I dedicate um, a third of my content to animal rights activism and 1 day per week to street actions. Okay, any variations of this, I think yes, you should be doing that too.
And you have you're a coach too. If people want to get fit and be vegan at the same time, you have a on your Instagram. Where do people find that?
Yeah, you can. If you go on my Instagram, you find client testimonials in my highlights stories. So see the results that you can actually get. And if you're interested in coaching, you can send me a DM saying, um, Chris. So I know you're actually coming from here, and we can have a conversation about working together.
Yeah, and hopefully we're gonna change some minds. Well, let's sign off to everybody, and we'll talk after. Thanks for coming, everybody. Go vegan or go fuck yourself.
That was a good end.
Yeah, yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, thanks, man. It's always good to talk to good people. You got plans for the week? What are you up to?
Um, Plans for the week. Well, I have my so actually someone broke in,
Oh shit.
so I need to change that. I need to go to the place and order a new window. And
God damn it.
yeah, and this weekend I have two animal rights activist events, showing the truth in the street. Like to do that.
Yeah,
That's it. What you
cool.
going to be about this weekend?
I think I'm gonna have one talk and then one live stream. I basically stay home all the time and do this podcast as hard as I can, and then the rest of the time I'm cooking the best vegan food I can get. I've been doing experimenting with pizzas and breads and everything, man. Lots of curry and lots of refried beans, Mexican food. So that's my main thing. But we'll see. Just relaxing, do a little gardening, stuff like that.
Okay. So the podcast
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
is, is doing well for you. You get just get paid
It's
from YouTube.
well, Yeah, but it's slow going. It's slow going. You should do the same because I think you would do well because you make great content. You do better than I do. I think you're less shy than I am. I'm more shy.
Well,
Uh,
we one. Well, here's the thing. Like I started with the mentality of wanting to sell my coaching program and not want to be a content creator, right?
yeah.
So I would create content to be a coach. But now I'm realizing that maybe I should have started a YouTube channel as well because then YouTube just pays you, right? The out of
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's not great, but it's something. And I think if you get 1,000, you get $1 for every 1,000 views or something like this. Some amount of money for every 1,000 views. And you
Mm,
can make these shorts and you get the same amount of like organic traffic that you do on Instagram. So, but if you just start publishing to both platforms at the same time, I think you'll probably do all right. And
yeah,
I'll support you all the way, man. So every time you put stuff out, I'm going to be sharing it. So we team up, you know what I mean?
yeah. And yeah, with my girlfriend we want to do a typical. We want to start a podcast basically because we went through all kind of stuff. We are polyamorous now. We had a threesome and we met in an after party and we were high on multiple drugs. So we have so many stories to say, and we want to and we were and we want to start a podcast and just tell our story and have fun
I think
there.
that would be awesome.
But
Do
yeah,
that. Do that. I'll support you. You come back and you tell me those stories again on my podcast. That would be funny as hell.
oh
I'd love
yeah, I
that.
like to
I
talk
also
about sex and polyamory.
Cool. I married a girl that we had that kind of night in the club, Fun drugs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
met there or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I came to Europe and I was hitchhiking around and then I met my wife. Wonderful human being. She turned me vegan.
okay.
Uh and then yeah, that it really, it has this closeness to it when you go out and have that kind of experience. But